Must be another person infected by the death dream. It appeared that way, yes. Gods, please don't tell me we have to go back in there. No good at this mind game crap. I'd rather hit something in the face and be done with it. Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission. Yeah. I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My prison is tucked under a stairway in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that seems without end. Light has no place here. Windows a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes, and eternity slips by in a single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Hey, anyone there? I hear an unfamiliar voice say. My savior. I claw at the door of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help, I laugh, I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me, I cry. For the love of all gods, help me. Impossibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired man and a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I am forced to turn away. Who are you? I ask, shaking hands covering my face. How have you come to this place? I'm Grimoire Weiss, this is NieR. Long have we been searching for you. Now come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as NieR extends his massive hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are as keen as ever. They recognize the staccato sounds of a heavy rain. I never thought to hear the rain again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Grimoire Weiss. Look at your feet. Force my eyes open and see water pooling around my feet and lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. Yes, and more comes out each moment we delay. If we do not make good our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know that you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. Castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant. I squint down in the dim corridors and proceed north. At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. All are covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come upon a shapeless mass of gray matter. It has been shoved against the wall. It has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fever, I think I see the outlines of a door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch a piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I face a mound of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know. Insanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound, whether scream or laughter, I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants me merciful blackness. I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed east. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. I squint down the corridors and proceed north. At the end of the path, the waters rise to my waist, exhausting me both physically and spiritually. I pray that this is the way out. Eventually I can stand the sight of the waters no longer, and so turn my eyes upward. Imagine my surprise when I see a series of paintings hanging on the faded plaster wall. Each depicts a person in the prime of life, clad in clothing of the highest quality. The styles, however, are strange to me, leading me to believe that these people that had lived long ago. One subject wears an outfit that particularly catches my eye. It is constructed of a thin, breezy cloth, decorated with a motif of flowers and birds, while encircling the figure's waist is a leather belt of the most perfect construction. It is a stunning costume even by modern standards. As I gaze at the portrait, I am struck by a desire to touch it with my own hands. Yet I extend a single finger to the painting. I am gripped by most unpleasant feelings. Staring closely at the image, I see it bend and warp into the shape of another finger. Something behind the picture is pointing at me. Is it another prisoner? Fellow inmate trapped for eternity in this place? I cannot let it pass, and so I seize the portrait with both hands and throw it into the water. The wall is hollow behind the painting, and inside I can just make out a body. Whether or not this is a prisoner, there would be no rescue. This poor soul is long dead. Scraps of clothing lie on the floor around the bones. Only a small amount of the fabric has survived, but it features the same delicate designs that were depicted in the portrait. I have been admiring a row of corpses, blocked from view by portraits of each victim at their pinnacle. Enough. Shielding my eyes, I paddled forward through the water. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed south. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed south. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed west. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed south. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. The water has risen to my chin and now laps greedily at my mouth and nose. You dumb bastard, shouts NieR. He surely desires to say more, but the rest of his insult is cut short by the rising water. Grimoire Vice, wet and tattered, floats on the water's surface. It's already too late for him. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. I find myself in a great hall with only the sounds of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rests china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing movements, I approach the chair at the table's head, but as the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in their remains. And this is the movement I saw. This once splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands and slowly backing away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs prove to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat up to the back and down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. For it not, it is a simple task to envision the agonized screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. My mind grasped frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was punishment. Though in truth I suspect that they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. I squint down in dim corridors and proceed north. Against all hope, we make it to the front door. Break it down, someone cries, so I give myself to the effort. In tandem with NieR and Grimoire Vice, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door on the third try and gives away, and we find ourselves sprawled in front of the castle. The storm is in retreat. The clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west I can see a thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. How can I thank you? I cry as tears join the rain on my cheeks. I would surely have died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters, and sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. Your dress? Asked Vice. Then you are a woman, madam. Yes, I am. I proffer the two a smile. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing as how I exist only in the form of words. I can see that the one known as NieR is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description, but he hides it well. With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth to our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. Fresh breeze blows the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, uncountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new life as shades. You have anything to say about that? Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time. I hear you. And another victim. This work certainly is trying. I'm surprised, Vice, you're a book. All this word stuff should be right up your alley. Yes, quite. Well, enough chatter. Let's be off. A colony of massive sculptures was visible in the distance, their tall forms scraping against the sky. Vice and NieR had never seen such a sight. Their eyes widened as they tried to take it in. Hey, Vice, we keep walking, but those things don't get any closer. I don't get it. Are they really that big? As Vice considered his answer, the sun beat down on them with renewed ferocity. Perhaps they are some manner of mirage, he said. Under this heat, a mirage too would hardly be an unexpected sight. NieR nodded and wiped the sweat off his brow, leaving a trail of sand in its place. He thought he'd never been so thirsty. The ancient road on which they walked was black and cracked with age. Here and there, the thin wisps of grass pushed up through the rocky surface, as if defying those who had laid this material down over their home. The heat reflecting from the road made NieR lightheaded. Suddenly he dropped to his knees and slammed his hand against the black surface. God damn it, he said. Is this some kind of joke? Well, I'm not laughing. The complaining had already begun. Vice tried not to let his eyes roll too much. A joke? He said. No joke. This road leads to the city of art. Perhaps the path itself is simply some manner of grand artistic work. Oh, come on, that's bullshit and you know it. Possibly, but thinking of it in this way might make it easier for you to bear. NieR glanced at Vice's grinning face, cursed silently to himself, and resumed walking. As time passed, NieR's feet grew more painful and his throat drier than he thought possible. He tried not to look further than the next step ahead because the bright sunlight made him hesitant to trust his own senses. "We're definitely getting closer," said Vice in an effort to cheer his companion. "Yes, this much is certain." Encouraged, NieR lifted his gaze. Suddenly he stopped walking, choosing instead to stand in the middle of the road with his mouth and eyes wide open and his finger pointing in the distance. "Water!" he cried. "It's water!" "Water?" asked Vice. "Preposterous. I don't see any water." "It's right there, idiot. Can you see it? Look, the sun is reflecting off it." Without waiting for a response, NieR sprang to life and bounded toward the sight. What in the... There was no water. There was nothing but sand in every direction. NieR closed his eyes and sighed as Vice floated up behind him, chuckling softly. "I believe this is known as a mirage," he said. "Many a desert traveler has spoken of such things." NieR shook his head, bewildered. Suddenly he pointed off in the distance, his eyes wide once more. "Wait, there it is. I just missed it. Look, it's right there." NieR sprinted off again, leaving Vice with no choice but to follow. After a few minutes of running, NieR came to a halt. "I could have sworn it was right here." Confused, he put his hand up to his eyes and rubbed them vigorously. As soon as he stopped, he noticed a blue, shimmering pool of clear water just over the next rise. With a shout, he bounded off in search of it. The chase continued for nearly an hour until an exasperated Vice finally floated up to NieR and struck him in the face with his cover. "You damn blithering idiot! Stop this at once. There is no water here." NieR's face clouded. There isn't? "There is not. Perhaps next time you'll listen to me when I tell you as much." Vice paused for a moment, then continued speaking in a slightly kinder tone. "However, I suppose this mad chase was not altogether wasted. It seems we have arrived in the city of art." NieR looked up. Stretched out before him was a row of impossibly tall sculptures. Their journey was at an end. "They're huge," cried NieR, completely forgetting the heat and pain of the past few hours. "I've never seen anything so big." Each sculpture was formed from roughly the same shape, a tall rectangle that stretched up towards the sky. But that is where the similarities ended. Most were covered with panes of glass that reflected the light in 1,000 directions, while others seemed to be nothing but frames of steel. Some had tall spires on their tops, while others possessed triangular caps. "What kind of city is this?" said NieR. "Where are the people? Where are the houses?" Perhaps the land is intended exclusively for artistic use. The debate continued as they made their way through the city. Miracles of artistry were everywhere. Great iron crates with wheels sat silently on steel rails. beautifully carved works with lights of red, amber, and green dangled over every street. As they moved away from the massive sculptures, they found a great array of smaller ones. Some were covered in glass or brick, but many were composed of materials that they had never before encountered. The sheer variety of colors and styles were staggering. Unable to find a theme or purpose in the abstract works around them, NieR and Weiss eventually fell silent. On the outskirts of the city, they discovered 3 sculptures in the shape of humans. NieR uttered a sigh of relief as he approached them. Finally, I was getting tired of modern art. The 3 statues were indistinguishable except for a single word chiseled into their right arms. One read Alpha, one Beta, and one Gamma. As NieR moved to touch the nearest statue, a bird flew from the top of one of the sculptures. Alighting on the statue's shoulder, it emitted a brief, beautiful song that took the form of words. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. The false ones only speak lies. With that, the bird departed. As if on cue, the 3 statues shuddered to life, acquiring color and form as they began to breathe. "Hey, look at that," said NieR. "They're alive." The triplets bowed low before NieR. "Please," said Alpha, "you have to get me out of this nightmare. I'm real." "Stop lying," said Beta. He turned to NieR and threw his hands in the air. "Alpha's a fake. You know, I'm the real one." "What a load of crap," said Gamma. "Beta's a fake. Everyone knows I'm the only real one around here." Their respective pleas given, the 3 statues returned to their frozen state as silence once again enveloped the city. "When you consider all the statements, only one of them could be the real thing," said Weiss. NieR furrowed his eyebrows and considered his answer. "Only one is real. One speaks truth, one lies. The real one is Beta." Though NieR's voice betrayed a notable lack of confidence, he was relieved to see Weiss nodding at him. If Alpha were telling the truth, began Weiss in the dry tones of the lecturer, Beta and Gamma would be fakes. But in that case, Gamma's claim that Beta is a fake would be the truth, even though Gamma is a liar. Therefore, that theory crumbles. Now let us presume that Gamma spoke the truth. That makes Alpha and Beta liars in this situation. However, Beta is calling Alpha a liar, which would leave us with the 2 statues telling the truth. Finally, let us assume that Beta is telling the truth. If so, Alpha and Gamma's lies would make sense. Therefore, Beta must be real. As Weiss finished his explanation, Alpha and Gamma crumbled soundlessly into dust, while Beta sprang to life once more. "Congratulations, villager," said Weiss, in a cheerful voice. "The next time to awaken has arrived." "Thank you for saving me," cried the villager. He dropped to his knees and bowed his head as low as it could go before uncomfortable NieR pulled him to his feet. "Why did you have a dream like this?" asked Weiss. "Have you been to this city before?" The villager slowly looked around at the bizarre objects and sculptures that dotted the landscape, then shook his head. I don't think so. I mean, it's impossible, right? There's no way I could ever been to a place like this. But at the same time, I feel like I've seen it before." "Deja vu," muttered NieR. "Just like that damn mare." The vague sense of unease that struck NieR during the mare's dream spread once more through his mind. "Okay, that was terrible. I'm positive I've seen this place before. Stop, I get enough foreboding crap from everyone else in my life. Don't you start too." "Okay there. Now, all the villagers can wake up, right?" Yes, the mayor's assumptions was correct. "I think I have had enough wordplay to last a lifetime. Thank you very much." "Yeah, I hear you. Let's go see the mayor." Fucking finally.
Hello.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Here I have something for you. Faith. Holy crap, I can have this? Of course. It's apparently a weapon of some renown, but we have little use for it. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you again for everything. Oh, thank goodness, I'm sick of reading. Time to save and never do that again. So the Forest of Myth and having to read like so much reminds me that the original concept for this game was to be based on actual fictional storybook characters. So how was the village? Oh, it was truly magnificent. There are no words, really. Huh, neat. Let's go back to Popola. She'll probably want to know what's going on in there. So, like, it was all meant to be based on storybook characters, like one of the bosses. I'm pretty sure the first one, when we got Vice, are officially named Hansel and Gretel. And so everything was supposed to be themed just like that. In fact, this theming convention, came back up again with Yokotaro's mobile game, unfortunately mobile and not anything on console. Because, you know, stop you dumb boar. So like, yeah, in Yokotaro's mobile game, Sino Alice, all the characters are based on storybook characters. Like, yeah. So, yeah. I don't think that mobile game has ever come to the West yet. I haven't checked in a while, but I doubt it ever will. Man, I can't wait for Yokotaro to get an actual console game again. Because as we can see, given a good team, he can make a masterpiece, just like NieR Automata. Can't kill cats still. So, like, and even with the not mediocre or sometimes bad teams, i.e. this game and Drakengard, he can still write really, really well. And still make something worth note. So that kind of makes me hope that he's doing something or planning on doing something. Maybe not even with this franchise, just something. That's all I can hope for. Death Dream is such a strange illness. I'm so happy you saved those people. Yeah, dealing with all those words was a pain in the ass. Even I, with my natural love for words, have no desire to visit that place ever again. Well, I feel ya. You guys did well. Ah, NieR. Huh? I almost forgot. Yona was looking for you. Oh? She said she needed something from you. Time to go play daddy for a bit, huh? Yeah, I guess so. Thanks, Popola. You know, so I'm Yona's father, right? There's not been any mention of a mother yet. What's up with that? Hey, Yona.
Oh.
Dad, yay. Popola said you needed something. I need a favor. What is it? Yona? I can't help you if you don't tell me. Yeah, I guess. Yona, please, out with it. I need you to help my friend. Your friend? I have a friend and he sent me a letter and now I need you to help. Someone wrote you a letter. Pen pal, how delightful. So who is this friend? Well, he's kinda... It's a guy. Yes, and he's sick and in a whole lot of trouble. And I know that you and Vicey are the only ones who can help him. Vicey? Tell me about this guy. He lives in a really big house down south and he's super nice and he's my friend. You have to help him, Dad, please? Yona, listen. Please? Great. Now what do I do? Okay, I'll see if I can help. Yay! Thank you, Dad, thank you. Can't say no to her, especially because it's the main quest. How could I say no to the main quest? Great, my kid's got a boyfriend. Oh, I doubt that. You should tread with caution. This lad may be your future son-in-law. Vice, we are not discussing this. What is this? Oh, that's lovely. Alright, so up here, there's gonna be a big ol' enemy over there. I don't care for it, I'm just gonna run. Why? Because this is the third time I tried to record this section. But more on that after this dialogue.
It is hardly what one would call especially fertile ground.
So pretty much the first time around, I set myself up trying to record this entire section. I set myself in a position where I was unable to beat it because I had to be perfect, otherwise complete death, and I had to restart each section.
We've been waiting for you. Please, right this way.
I'll mention what sections it was when I get there. And the second time I tried to record it, the recording just messed up. So I got completely. So I'm just going in this with a couple hours old salt. Also, welcome to Resident Evil. This guy's super slow. I'm also, you can't evade. So this guy's super slow. I'm just gonna go into the room I'm supposed to go.
Please, wait here.
Waiting's a bitch. Just let me know if any shades show up, okay?
Well,
So don't wait.
we've come this far. I suppose we can't turn back now.
This boyfriend better be worth it.
What you want to do is find a certain door. Also, when you're walking, as long as you're holding the controls, the analog stick in the specific position you are holding it in,
I don't like this one bit.
You sound scared,
as you enter the new screen, you'll keep walking the same direction. A little nudge, and you'll move in that new direction.
Now, why don't we head back?
Maybe.
So even though it's see like that, just a little nudge and it'll reset your position. Oh right. So even though it's like Resident Evil, in terms of camera style, it's not tank controls.
Hey, where'd Kaine go?
I knew this was a terrible idea. Haunted manors and the like. Oh, why does no one ever listen to me?
So I really like the music in this area because it's like you got two kind of moods out of it. You have you've got like a I forget where I had to go. It's like the lyrics are very beautiful and kind of calming, but it's also kind of haunting and eerie. Oh god, yeah, camera, great. And it's just both beautiful and kind of creepy, and it gets better when percussion gets added.
Somebody get me out of here!
Not in there. Where are you? Oh hey,
What's this? The picture has changed.
the guy's got horns, and this guy's a weird creepy zombie man. Alright. Oh hey, statues. Sure. Moving on. Hidden items. Moon key. So, because I played this section, this is the third time today now, I have no excuse for failure.
What foul hole did
Yeah,
they
you
fall
don't
from?
need to fight them. I'm not gonna fight them. But as you heard, like, a little tidbit of, when you're in a battle, percussion on this song will pop up. And it sounds really good.
You're an adult. Male. Maybe 40?
You got all that from my footsteps?
It's not hard once you know how.
And I suppose I should tell you about my friend Vice.
I only heard one set of footsteps.
Grimoire Weiss does not strut about like a common land mammal. But enough of this introductory chatter. Let us hear your tale.
My name is Emile. I'm the master of this manor.
You the kid who sent a letter to my little girl?
Letter? I don't know anything about a letter.
No, of course not. Such a thing would be far too simple.
No, stay back.
Huh?
I'm sorry. It's my eyes. Anything I look at gets turned to stone. That's why I live with this blindfold.
What a remarkable skill. I've never heard of such a thing.
Anyway, my butler might know more about the letter you received. My key can unlock any door in the manor, so if you want to follow me...
That's all right. We can get around on our own.
Oh, well, okay. Here's the key. The butler's quarters are at the far end of the manor. Let me give you a map. It's a big place, and I don't want you to get lost.
Yeah.
Think we should look for Kaine?